Okay, we'll start this session again as we were interrupted. So, do you have any religious or spiritual background, and how important is that to you?
Um, it's very important to me. I feel like that religion is something that just probably in the last couple months has become even more important to me and my little family. But I grew up in church. Not something like every time the doors were open, but I went every Sunday with my family. So I was raised with it, but it wasn't something that I was really, I guess, familiar with or knew everything, the ins and outs of it until I became an adult and started learning more. And yeah, so it's important.
Um, how is it related to your career goals or anything to do with your career?
I don't know that I would say that it's related to my career goals in any way, but I do think that it's important to add that as an interpreter, um, I could be called to interpret anything. It could be educational, it could be in the court system, it could be anything, and that also includes church. So I could maybe have to interpret, I don't know, maybe something that I'm not familiar with if they called me to a Catholic church to interpret, or maybe Muslim, or anything that I'm not familiar with that could throw a wrench in my interpreting. So,
How has your family, both immediate and extended, how have they influenced your career goals? Do they conflict with any of your family's expectations?
um, I don't think so. It's kind of funny that you asked that because when I first started when I first started at EKU, I mentioned that I wanted to go into some kind of medical field, nursing or something. And of course, my parents encouraged that because that's where the money is. But um, I don't know that my grandparents really influenced me so much that I wanted to become an interpreter, but I think that it was almost kind of built in. So when I started taking sign language classes, it was just like an easy thing for me, where chemistry was not easy for me. So I don't think that it really conflicted. I mean, of course, they wanted me to be something that I could make bukus of money and pay back all my student loans really quick, but that didn't happen. So I think that probably being raised with deafness in my family maybe had some sort of an subconscious influence, I guess.
So you mentioned your grandparents have obviously influenced you, but are there some other people in your community or the larger society who has influenced your career goals, and what have they done?
Um, I think that once I became an interpreter, I met a lady named Jennifer who owned the company that I worked for, and she was definitely influential to me. She helped me decide that interpreting is definitely something that I would want to do forever and that I am really good at it. She helped me realize those things. Um, she also helped me get my foot in the door as far as knowing what to do if I decided to ever open an agency of my own and that sort of thing. But she introduced me to court interpreting, which I love, and it's really good money, and it's something that kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat. So I think she would probably have to be somebody that would be a huge influence on my career path.
As an interpreter, what do you see as your greatest challenge in your career, and what is your greatest asset to pursuing the goals that you want to achieve?
Did you say obstacle or
The
challenge?
greatest challenge.
I think the greatest challenge for me right now is Eastern Kentucky is not a highly populated deaf community, and it's hard for an interpreter unless you have a really good job where they have a staff interpreter on site, which fortunately I do. But if I did ever want to do any sort of interpreting for an agency or open an agency, that would be a challenge in this area because there's not a big deaf population. So it would be nearly impossible to branch out from what I'm already doing here. And I guess an asset would just have to be my family history of having deaf people in the family. When I graduated from college, it was really scary going out into the deaf community and not knowing whether the deaf they're almost like a family. Like they have their own culture and their own belief system and these kinds of things. And it was almost like, are they going to accept me? Are they going to like me? Or am I going to do okay at this? And having deaf family really helped because I could go and sit down in an appointment and say, hi, my name's Crystal. How are you? We would have a little bit of a conversation. And typically they would say, how did you learn sign language? And I would go, my grandparents are deaf. Oh, okay. And then that would always help.
Okay. So during this session, we've covered a lot of information. Is there anything you would like to add? Maybe anything that you forgot to add in one of the other questions? Something that we missed that you would like to share?
I don't know. I don't think so. No,
Okay.
I think that's about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for being the first career person to do my counseling session. Do you care to sign at least your name?
Oh, in sign language?
Yes.
Sure. You want me to say it while I sign it?
Yes. Just maybe say a little something for us and say hi to the class.
Hello, class. My name is Crystal. My sign name is Crystal with a K. You just kind of shake it. Thank you for watching.